Oh, wow. What's up, my children? Forsen is on a god seed.
They're gonna get the fuck. Am I out of... Killing one on the way. Another guy is hovering lava. Where are we? We're gonna go 158 blocks. That's GG. 148 blocks. With the 89.
Why does he have so much hacker text on screen?
Because it's in lava and I have no more fire resistant potions.
Was TSA bad for you too? In and out of Omaha?
No. It cannot be done. Yeah. It's just impossible. 35. Unless this is
Any thoughts on the one battle after another's Oscar wins? I saw some of those Oscar things, bro. I don't know, man. These new movies, I'm just not. I think maybe I'm too old. Holy shit.
I truly think this will go down.
Shut up. Do you think the DEI criticism was overblown? What is the DEI criticism? I don't even know. But they chose movies that were like racism bad or something?
We go entity distance 50, right? Render distance 8.
If you had to give 3 succinct reasons why you didn't like one battle after another, what would they be? I don't know if I'd give reasons why I don't like a movie. It would just be, there was nothing to like about it, I guess. Like, I don't know if any part of it was like necessarily like bad. I just, I just didn't like anything about it.
Nice.
I don't know.
Nice.
Wait, is he getting fortress fuck? When does he need to get his stronghold?
Wait, was that not the starting staircase? I mean, that's so crazy to me.
Oh, yep. I thought you guys said this was a... Oh.
Where's the portal? portal is here. This wasn't the starting staircase, so I didn't think about scanning behind me.
Oh shit, he was like pretty close to it, no? Well.
With the swallows flying high up above. Yet
What is this an ad for? Is this an ad for another live streamer? On your own stream? That seems kind of...
I got 2 words for you. Loyalty program. Snag this hotel for $250 a night.
Okay.
You didn't check Trivago? I got it for $155.
Ooh.
Yo, Benny, this guy didn't check Trivago.
He didn't check
You have to check
Trivago.
Look, on Trivago, you can compare prices from multiple different sites.
Look.
And loyalty programs and prices from hotel websites.
Same hotel, $100 less.
2 words.
Holy
Check
shit.
Trivago.
He got fucked, bro.
Benny!
Check Trivago to compare prices and save up to 40%. Hotel? Trivago.
We were torn apart at birth. That's dramatic.
Is that Tucker
This
Carlson?
is the story of the best part of the sandwich and his crust.
Oof.
How's it feel to be so irresistible? Irresistible? Is that what people are saying? That's it. Ugh, irresistible. Uncrustables are the best part of the sandwich.
Damn.
Hours of streaming, and I still smell
Another streamer.
unstoppable. Level
Streamer
up
streaming
laundry
commercials
for
on
24-hour
streams.
non-stop freshness.
Oh my god, kitties! Wait, do you think this is real?
Friskies. Always more to explore.
Your take on DLSS 5. What are we supposed to be mad about right now? It looks like dog shit? Compared to what? Wait, like you think like this looks better than this? Or... Stop trolling me. Wait, why do people care? I mean, devs made games to look one way, and Nvidia is basically saying... Oh, wait, is this done with like, Oh, hold on, wait, my brain just flooded with ideas. This isn't just like, Oh, hold on, wait, this is like the worst thing ever. Wait, I'm sorry, but I can't be understanding it right, or you guys are communicating this incorrectly. Hold on, wait a second. Was Hogwarts Legacy made, is this like the older game? Was this made with DLSS in mind, or is this just like a totally artificial, like slop scaling? I don't like saying upscaling because it's not. I think you can maybe argue that upscaling is okay if you're trying to get a higher resolution on something. But here you're like literally just changing. Like, I'm going to go rewatch Gundam Wing with DLSS 5 on and upscale all the character, or not upscale, but like filter all the characters. It's not changing assets, it's a lighting change. Oh. Nvidia is saying, oh wait, it's a setting the developers have to add. It isn't something outside that you enable across all games. Oh, okay, never mind. Sorry, my take on this is like if the game developers have a say in implementing this in their game, then I think it's fine. But if this is like a slot filter that you could literally just throw on any game, then I think that's kind of not good. However, I will give a hot take that I'm pretty sure is not true, and it's literally just me being old and nostalgia pilled, but I'll give it anyway.
I can.
There's a lot of detail that's missing from this face, right? There's like 7 lines. This is not even remotely close to a realistic looking face, right? No forehead wrinkles. Probably need way more detail in the ears and then the face in general. More like, there's not enough here for this to be like a real face, but stylistically, it makes sense. And we see things and we interpret them as such. And then we fill in parts. Right? There's like a style here that is instantly recognizable. And I don't know, there are things, it's just a nice, I don't know how else to say that. You could argue with like the most dramatic example of this might be the like the Final Fantasy VII character models. One thing that I thought was interesting when game engines had more limitations, or I shouldn't say game engines, kind of the engines, but the hardware was more limited, was you had to make stylistic choices about what you could show on the game. You can't show everything, right? Everything can't be ultra realistic, ultra detailed. You have to make choices about how you want to animate things and what parts of the model you even exist. I think that this era of people making stylistic choices about what to show, I think was more visually interesting than every single game trying to be ultra realistic, Cyberpunk 2077, ultra realism, ultra ray tracing realistic, ultra fine hair details, ultra ray realism, ultra ray tracing lighting, shadows, bouncing, ultra realism. I think that's kind of boring. Yeah. But that literally might just me being old and maybe saying that, but like I never played this game, but I appreciate like stuff like this. I just think is so much more visually interesting because there's like a style that they're going for to convey something. Sorry, hold on. I think my Google Chrome crashed because I accidentally tried to full screen a YouTube video and I only have a 5090 and I think some huge Ryzen processor in this computer, so I couldn't full screen that YouTube video. Oh, cool. We got Breaking Bad somehow. Okay. Like, I think stuff like this is visually cooler, more interesting, or more, I don't know what you would call it. I don't know if you would say ambitious, but it's just like stylistic. I like stylistic stuff. Just like any other art form, the technical skill / detail is not the only thing that matters. You wouldn't call Picasso a bad artist because his work isn't photorealistic. I would. I would play this game. Hell yeah. DLSS activate. Hasan slot.
Like,
I don't know if I'm going to lose my voice halfway into the stream, so I'm trying to be careful, okay?
Did you feel weird being in such a capitalist mainstream event while being a socialist? No, I live in the United...
The funny thing is Hasan is like, now he's smarter than Vaush because Vaush was more honest and thought he could have the debate. Remember one of the last debates, I think it was the second to last debate me and Vaush had, was Vaush was basically saying if you're a socialist but you live in a capitalist world, you have to live exactly like a capitalist. He wasn't saying that exactly, but by the end of our argument, that's where I'd pushed him. It's like, so functionally, there's no difference between how a capitalist would live and a socialist would live in a capitalist world. What's the point of even being a socialist then? I think he looked pretty bad. It was a pretty dumb argument on his point. And Hasan is like speed running that argument in his whole life now. It's very funny that like Hasan really truly does. If you were to break apart everything, he lives his life, I've said this a million times, like a maximalist, hyper-consumerist, hyper-capitalist. It's just how he lives. So he's always going to have a reason or an excuse why he needs to be in the most schmoozy, clout-driven environment possible. He always has to have an excuse. There's always going to be a reason. He needs the biggest house, one of the best cars, the most expensive clothes, all the bougie socialite events. Like he has to be in all of these. It's essential. He's a capitalist. He's a slave to the system, guys.
Did you feel weird being in such a capitalist mainstream event while being a socialist? No, I live in the United States of America. Like, that's not even a question for
what socialism is when no more parties, guys.
For me, like people like that. It's so funny. Like there is no like everything we do is still defined by the economic organization of society that we live in. Okay, it's not. Of course, it's not a thing that I even remotely consider. Like, what do you mean? Weak excuse? I don't need an excuse. Like, what the fuck are you talking about? For who? For what excuse? We were just talking about Wagner Moura, who quite literally is there's some fairly radical people there.
Dang. What is this?
Every single person.
Oh my God.
Okay, I'm done talking about politics.
Wait, I think I've seen him wear this shirt before. He repeated an outfit?
Actually, every single neoliberal was correct. Every single person in this community is a mouth-breathing troglodyte. Zoran was at 1% in the beginning of the primaries, like 5 months out of the race, not 5 days out of the race, you fucking baboon. Oh my God. Every single time we have a conversation about electoral viability, this entire community turns into a bunch of idiots. It is probably the worst aspect of this community. Every single centrist neoliberal is vindicated. Anytime some of you dumb try to open your mouth about, well, there's a better candidate out there. Like when I was interviewing Tom Steyer, there's a race with like 20 Democrats right now, and it's going to be the top two candidates in the state of California for the gubernatorial race, because there's like 25 Democrats running for office, is going to go to the top 2 Republicans. There's a reason why I interviewed Tom Steyer and not Ramsey Robinson, which I will, but it's not going to change anything. There's a reason why Ramsey Robinson doesn't have the capacity. I don't personally have the capacity to make Ramsey Robinson into a viable candidate. A lot of you.
What is Hasan's argument then for buying expensive jewelry, watches, clothing, animals, houses, cars, etc.? Surely by living in a capitalist society, you don't need to be a hyper... Well, he's never really pushed on it because none of the people that push him care to push it much, because it's all of alternative media is this fucking clout game.
You literally don't understand it. You think like, well, this guy has the best policies, so like he should win, right? Like this is how it works. That's not how it works. There's a reason why AIPAC is dumping $850,000 against Kat Al-Ghazali. They recognize the threat that she presents. Why the f can't you? That's the problem. I'm sorry. Every single person that works at AIPAC is a million times smarter than you. They see her as a threat. She went on television and said, I want to condition all aid to Israel. No distinction between defensive...
Is there like a name for like anti-Semitism if you get there because you just hate hearing about Jews and Israel? What's that called? How do I join that club? I'll do it. I'm ready to join that club. I'm good on that, Chief.
And offensive weapons. And you guys still think she is not a real advocate for Palestinians when she herself is a Palestinian. I'm done. I can't have this conversation with you guys any longer. It's very frustrating. You just want to meme around. You want to be like, no, if you want Daniel Biss to win, go right ahead.
And when you're researching a topic, where do you typically go first? Been watching for a couple years. Love the videos. Typically what I'll do is I will start banging your mom, and before I let her orgasm, I'm edging the fuck out of her, and I tell her, if you want to come, you need to find me the best place to start for this particular research topic. And then she's super motivated. She scurries over to your computer while you're at school, and she starts typing up a storm, and then usually whatever source she gives me is Kino, and then I bang the fucking shit. I'm sorry, I'm just kidding. I'm sorry, I'm just video gaming. My bad. Bro, it depends on the topic. Politics sucks. Why would you even waste your time researching right now? Your best bet is to be a centrist, have no real political views, and then basically just slurp up whoever wants to agree with you. Find some friends that agree with every single thing you say, or are too stupid to realize you have legitimate disagreements, and just yes and each other for 4 hours and have the world's leading podcast. You're literally 43 Destiny. Yeah. Technically, as I get older, banging your moms gets less and less cringe because it's more and more age appropriate. Do you understand? I'm actually aging into that joke instead of aging away from it. Dipshit.
Vote for Daniel Biz. Vote for Bushra. Vote for whoever the f you want to vote for. If you want to spend the next...
This is photoshopped. Nothing about this picture is real. So I don't even know why you're... Why is your throat sore? Good luck making a your mom joke out of this one. My throat is sore because I was fucking your mom missionary, and my dick is so fucking huge when it's in your mom, it goes all the way up through her vagina, perforates into her fucking stomach, and comes all the way out her throat and fucks me in my own throat while I'm banging her. That's why. When a naturalized citizen commits terrorism in the United States, current law makes revoking citizenship extremely difficult unless fraud in the naturalization process can be proven. That gap leads to serious national security concerns, and it's a reality we have to confront head on. What the fuck does that mean? We're going to denaturalize people for committing crimes based? Okay. How was your time with Nathan? I don't know, man. Pretty rough. He's older now. He's larger, so he's 15. So I would have expected his... I don't know. I was hoping like if he got like my genes to start turning on, but he got obliterated in mini golf twice. He got obliterated in laser tag twice. He got annihilated in ice hockey or in air hockey. He's a little closer on that one, but still blown the fuck out. It just wasn't even close. Maybe for his 16th birthday he'll get there, but man.
On language policing the other day, and I do want to cover more. One by guaranteed to hit 200 today. Don't take that as advice. At the moment,
oh my god, stock trading Vaush stream. Holy shit! What the fuck is this jacket? Does he do like a stand up and twirl around at the start of his streams? What is this? Somebody link me this. Oh my god! What the fuck, bro? He's like dangerously dripped the fuck out. Holy shit! Is there a full... Does he have a full... Find me the stream. Does he do a twirl on this? What the fuck?
It's always something. Why are you wearing gloves? Why do people wear gloves? What?
I love this
it is an article of clothing. Why do you wear clothes? Obviously, because there's no social stigma against exposing one's bare hands. It's obvious that my hands are cold.
Nobody has a link to me? Fuck you guys. Okay, whatever.
At least it seems like it's holding with a slight rise. We had a great talk on language policing the other day, and I do want to cover more Jang videos.
I will also say, fuck this piece of shit for still not retracting all the lies he spread about me. But, okay, just as a reminder, so you can know I hate him in my heart, okay? One thing Vaush does really well is I feel like when people's facial hair gets long, it gets very unkempt. He's very good at having like a very full beard and mustache. Because I hate mustaches. I'll fucking trim the fuck out of mine up my lip. I don't like anything go over my lip because it drives me crazy. But he's good at keeping it long, but still like very kept, like very like it looks. Is there a better word than that? Kept, kempt. Is there a word I'm looking for there? Like it looks well maintained. It's not like crazy scraggly, groomed. Well, I don't want to say groomed. That's a little loaded. Okay.
Because it gives me the opportunity to engage a little bit more with the stuff he's talking about, but like a better version of it, I guess. At least I think it's a better version. I am nowhere near the like best source of information on anything regarding historical materialism, but damn, it is so informative, dude.
Why was I linked
Historical
this?
materialism is so useful. It's so useful. It's such an important way of like you should at least familiarize yourself with it so that you have it in your toolbox when trying to engage with the world.
Oh.
Because I've seen, I'll
Maybe
admit to a
not
bit
as
of a taboo, if I may. I saw a recent debate. It was brought to my attention by chat between Destiny and Hutch, and it felt like
that's
it's
me.
like a lib thing. They're libbing at each other. They're throwing libs at they're lib bombs at one another. But I felt like at least on Destiny's
I would
side,
say
there's like a fundamental puzzle piece missing, and I don't know if it's possible for him or for anyone, I guess, of that political predisposition to look past it. The idea that beyond the partisan distinctions of this country, beyond the behavior of the media or of any individual politician, there's an underlying current towards the interests of capital that everything flows back towards. And every push and pull that we see is like people playing at the surface of the water, right? Like you enter the river and you're playing with your friend, you're splashing each other, whatever. You move this way, you move that way, but the current is always pulling. Always pulling. And I think that like a lot of what we're seeing right now, a lot of these insane developments, no rule of law, president can do whatever they want, open corruption, a lot of this stuff, it's not just incidental, and it's not like an accidental byproduct of Trump's idiosyncrasies. It's not just like, oh well, he's a crazy guy, so whatever, it's happening. It is either the consequence of or the deliberate like byproduct of this longer shift towards capital interests, and it's not a coincidence that it's happening here at the center of global.
So here is the only issue. This is why I don't understand, but I don't know. I've never seen these guys actually have to critically engage with this because nobody has any conversations anymore. If we were purely looking at like the capital class, I feel like the neocons would still be in power because Donald Trump has not been good for, broadly speaking, the capital class, right? Like the capital class would want free trade, would want as much immigration, legal or otherwise, as possible. They kind of like tax cuts, not as much as the Republicans seem to say they do. But I think the free trade and global stability that brings, and I think that the other thing I said, I forgot it. But I think those things are more important than... Well, I don't know what the fuck this... I don't even know what this current administration is doing. I just can't even speak intelligently about it. I don't know what the fuck anything is. I don't know anything about politics anymore. The U.S. was like baby raging because they're like, we asked the whole world to help us and nobody's coming to our aid. Like, no shit, Sherlock. I'm just waiting for, what was my prediction last night in chat, for the European countries to start cucking out and be like, oh no, we'll come help you. Oh no, just kidding, Trump will come help. You could argue maybe there's like one hyper-specific capital class that Trump favors, and it's like the crypto people, maybe. But I don't think, I guess they do represent a big chunk of it now, but Jesus.
Capital, right? This is all the oligarchs, they fell in line, the three guys that own all major media, they all fell in line. And I think like that, and then you look at it like, well, why isn't it? It's like, okay, underlying all these superficial arguments that we have, there are underlying battles that are being fought, and we are losing badly, and we're losing to some very stupid people because they're very, very powerful, Like Elon Musk, very, 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 very stupid, but he still bought Twitter for a tiny fraction of his wealth, leveraged out, and the world is worse for it, The Ellisons, I don't think the Ellisons are particularly smart. I just think they're wealthy. I really don't think there's much of a correlation between wealth and intelligence. Man, 101.5, sheesh, and they're going to own the fucking world, Disney, I think, is owned by some smarter people because they're more traditionally into the management of business, but even then, like, how smart do you want your rulers to be, really? They're still on the other side.
Like, why would Trump be able to bend these companies to his whim instead of the companies bending Trump to his whim, right? Like, I feel the reason why I don't like these capital analyses is because they end up feeling very reductive, and that you could basically make any argument and say, well, because capital, first of all, wealthy people are going to have more capital anyway, and then wealthy people are going to be better off in so many other ways in terms of education, in terms of political influence, everything else. So it's almost going to be like of course they're going to have more influence everywhere else, but is it because of their capital or other things? I don't know. I just don't, it just doesn't, it's not very explanatory to me. Like, if we go back to before the second Iran war that we launched this term, and we were to say, well, what's Trump going to do? I don't think the capital class wants another war with Iran. I just don't know what useful predictions we're making from capital ownership there. I really, honest to God, I just think that Trump is fucking retarded. I just don't know how else to say it. I'm sorry. I think Trump is just, I think he's a fucking retard. I really, truly think Trump is fucking retarded. The oil class would? What is like our total revenues for our oil industry? Look this up for me. Total revenue, oil sector, United States. The U.S. oil and natural gas industry is a massive competitor, with the sector contributing approximately $2.1 trillion to the U.S. economy in 2023. God damn. That's a big old number. Holy shit. That's a lot of money. God damn. Never mind. I changed my answer completely. The oil capital class sent us to war with Iran. Whew. Holy shit. The last Republican to win the popular vote was Reagan. He also had dementia, right? I'm sorry. I just got so incredibly upset because I just remembered something. Reagan only had dementia in his second term, I believe. Didn't Trump make a statement about how he said, it's like there's a million things that should just be instantly impeachable. I'm so tired keeping up with all this. I just want to play video games. This is a crazy statement for Donald. Now that I didn't realize, I knew it was big. I didn't realize that's a lot of money. Holy fuck. Oil executives are set to meet with President Donald Trump at the White House on Friday to discuss investments in Venezuela, a White House official confirmed to ABC News. This article is from 3 months ago, January 7th, shortly after the Venezuelan stuff, I think. Trump previously said he spoke to U.S. oil companies prior to the raid on Venezuela, even as he said he opted to forego disclosure to members of Congress ahead of time due to concerns about possible leaks. Excuse me? What is that? What? Why did that happen? Why were we okay with that? The U.S. produces enough oil to support itself, if I recall. Kind of, but not really. Remember, these are global markets. So if the supply of oil is down in other parts of the world, the cost of gas will rise in the United States, or oil will rise in the United States because it's more expensive to sell it in other places. Does that make sense? Do I need to explain this? No, I don't need to explain it, or no, it doesn't make sense. Florida. This is California. Okay. North America. This is a totally realistic thing. Let's say that oil sells for $90 a barrel in the United States of America. Okay. This is Europe, Africa. If it sells for $90 here, okay. Have you ever heard of a wonderful thing called arbitrage? Wait, let me explain arbitrage first. Sorry, hold on. Arbitrage is important to understand for other areas of your life too, okay? Let's say that there is a market over here, and let's say that on this market, let's say that you can buy a thing for $100. Let's say that's the bid price. So what people are offering, and let's say that the asking price is $105, right? So this is your spread. It's $5, okay? Let's say that you have another market over here of $80. To $85. Let's say this is the asking price, this is the bid, okay? In a decently liquid environment where things can be transferred from a market to another, assuming there aren't like weird barriers in place or whatever, right? These two markets will never, ever, ever exist at the same time. Why? Who can explain why? Raise your hand. Why can't these two markets exist in parallel with one another? Mr. Mooten, I'm calling on you. Lucas, why can't these markets exist together? Oh, I can't connect. Hello? Mooten, I'm calling on you. Lucas, why can't these markets exist at the same time?
It's quite simple. I wasn't listening. Just wanted to be in voice chat. I'm sorry.
Are you serious?
Yeah. But I'm ready to listen now.
Okay. If I knew that people were bidding $100 over here for oil, they were willing to pay 100, and this market is selling 105, and I know that people here are willing to sell for 85. Well, I'm going to buy all the $85 asks, and then I'm going to sell it to all the $100 bids until this price is driven down and this price is driven up, and then eventually these markets will reach an equilibrium. Right? Does that make sense?
Correct.
So this is called arbitrage, right? This is why
it's the reason I can't go to India and buy gold for $10 an ounce and then bring it to America, right?
Good job, Lucas. Great answer. Great example. 2 gold stars for you. Okay. Yeah. On global markets, arbitrage is the reason why things tend to equalize. If you want to make money in your own personal life by being a scumfuck, you can make friends bet you on things with a 1-to-1 ratio or whatever, because that's what most people bet at is 1-to-1 because nobody understands odds. And then you could take those bets to Polymarket and you could just arbitrage all the bets with your friends and make money. Does that make sense?
Shrimple. Yeah, because you get better odds on Polymarket.
Exactly, yeah. Okay. Back to oil. So in the United States, if oil is being sold at $90, even though in the stock market we can see physical asks and bids. Now in the real world in markets, we don't really see those physically, right? You either walk into the store and you decide to buy something or you don't decide to buy it. You don't put forth, you're not bidding at the store. Companies might have some kind of ask bid process. I'm not sure. But So anyway, let's just say it's $90 a barrel in the United States. Let's say that for some reason there's a huge supply shock. This is my accurate Middle East. And all of a sudden, all these other areas that might be trading, now the prices aren't going to be exactly the same because you might have like transportation costs or other things, other weird local taxes, whatever. But let's say there's a huge supply shock, okay? Iran is saying, no more oil through our strait, fuck you. And let's say that supply shock, remember the X graph for our supply and demand, right? Mm-hmm. If the supply decreases on a given thing, okay, when the supply goes down and the quantity demanded remains the same, it pushes the price up, right? Because people are willing to pay more per thing to get the thing because they need it. Less supply, more people chasing the same supply, right? So these prices are now going to go up to, let's assume in Europe, now it's like $120. And in Africa, it's $150 a barrel, right? Well, let's assume, so somebody correctly points, well, the United States, we produce enough oil for ourselves. We don't ever have to worry about global markets. Well, let's say you're a producer in the United States and you're selling at $90 a barrel, and you look across the Atlantic and you see, well, they're buying at 120 and 150 over here. What are you going to do? You're going to start to arbitrage. You're going to export over here until people in your own country also have to pay whatever those international prices are. These are global markets. So even when there's supply chain stuff impacting other countries over here, even if we make enough oil domestically to fund our own economy, because we have an open market and because we can sell to other people around the world, that means that the prices in the United States will also rise. Does that make sense?
Yep.
Cool. Good job. Wow.
Couldn't the United States, in theory, I think Biden actually did this. Didn't he release the strategic oil reserves when prices were high?
Yes.
Sell a bunch of oil, make money, and then just replenish it when they were low? The price was low?
I don't know who manages economically does the United States government get to keep the money there? Like for the strategic oil reserve?
I'm pretty sure that they did. I feel like I read a thing about that.
I don't know if we ever replenished I think it's the SRP, the Strategic Reserve of Petroleum. There's a whole bunch of metalloid sloppers or people. Actually, I don't think metalloid has said anything, but there's a whole bunch of retards in chat who are saying things like, storage costs aren't zero. There's transportation costs. Correct. These are not frictionless vacuum markets with teleporters where everything can be transported instantaneously from one place to the next. So there are transportation costs. There is not perfect equilibrium. There are going to be local taxes and other hurdles and stuff. That is true. Good job. You get the Pedantic Star Award. Congratulations.
Very smart, Metalloid.
Well, Metal, I don't actually know if Metalloid was, I think he was one of you who actually did well actually there, but all these other retards in chat. They're likely nearly negligible, right? It super depends on the type of good you're talking about. I don't know how long crude can be stored for or what that looks like. I don't know the answer to that. My guess is for crude, it's probably fairly negligible because so much of this is transported around. There's probably a great deal of investment and supply and infrastructure to like move this stuff around, but I don't know the answer to that. I'm not sure. What's the difference between crude and Brent? Crude is when I slap your mom across the face, and Brent is when I slap her with a...
You slap her boyfriend.
Yeah, I don't know. What the fuck is Brent oil? Is that a
I've
thing?
never heard of Brent.
Crude versus Brent. Brent crude and West Texas Intermediate are the two primary benchmarks for global oil pricing. Brent is the international benchmark for Atlantic Basin crude extracted in the North Sea. WTI is the U.S. benchmark, sourced primarily from Texas. Brent is a grade of oil based on where it's pulled from. Okay. Do you know if oil is... When you talk about a barrel of crude, is the type of crude oil assumed? Or is crude oil after it's already been refined a bit? Because like I know oil pulled out of like Venezuela is not the same as oil pulled out of like the Gulf.
Canada. Well, actually Canada's and Venezuela's are apparently pretty similar.
Like what is the... does crude have to be like a certain composition or...
Sulfur content. It's percentage.
Okay. Wow, Destiny, good Reddit factoid. Wait, what was my Reddit factoid? Which one?
I think they're just being mean to you.
Crude is just raw oil. It still has different grades. Oh, okay. When you say a barrel of crude, what is a barrel of crude oil? One barrel of crude oil gives you nearly 70 kilowatt hours. Wait, how much is 1 kilowatt hour just running something at 1,000 watts for 1 hour? Is that what that means? Does this mean that if your computer were to consume on average 500 watts, that it would take a whole barrel in 140 hours, your computer would burn through a barrel of oil? That can't possibly be right. Is that true? Am I missing some zeros there or something? Holy shit.
Oil good?
No, isn't that bad?
Well, no, I'm saying like
if somebody were to lug a 42-pound barrel of oil to my house, in my brain, I'd be like, oh my God, I bet I could run my computer for years off of this.
Yeah.
Everything there is produced by one barrel, not just 70 kilowatt hours. Oh, true. I'm sorry. You're right. Okay, never mind. I was going to say, that'd be crazy. That makes more sense. So all of this stuff can be produced off of... Biden emptied about half of the strategic oil reserve and then was working to refill it. Trump stopped refilling and didn't think to refill before starting this war.
Classic. Then he blamed Biden.
Well, why didn't Biden fill the whole thing?
Yeah. Yeah.
Let's see. From 2015. So this is how much crude we have. And then Biden began to dump the strategic reserves around 2022 and then was slowly rebuilding it up till, Well, no, it looks like Trump didn't stop, did he? In January of 2025, we had 395,000, and then up to 414. He just didn't like refill it with any urgency. But I don't know how much. Well, let's see. How many barrels a day does U.S. consume oil? We consume 20 million barrels per day. So 413, we have 413 million barrels, because we can't just like fill it up immediately, right? Because it would shock the market we'd be buying. The supply would drop like
You'd be
crazy.
buying it
right?
all.
Yeah. Huh? One barrel can make all, or each of those can be made with a whole barrel? One barrel should be able to make all of these things, I believe. Different parts of oil are made...
Used for different shit.
Yeah. I feel like if you've played any fucking slop game, like Factorio or Minecraft or whatever, you take oil and then you make different products from the same oil. Like you refine it into different products, and then those things are refined into different products. Damn, oil really... You can do a lot of shit with that. God was so nice for putting that in the ground, right? Thank God. Mm-hmm. What a king. I wonder why he didn't give any to Israel, though. Isn't that kind of weird? You kind of fucked him on that.
He's putting
Testing
them through
them?
another trial. Yeah.
Could you imagine if Israel had oil? Holy shit.
Maybe they do.
He really seemed to be so ignorant that he truly believed Iran would roll over and never go as far as closing the strait. But I just don't know if he understands anything. Like when Iran, like I've told you this before, right? Hopefully you guys are a little smarter than the average retard online, right? That when Iran is saying things like, we're going to get vengeance on you, we're going to attack your U.S. base, right? When they say things like that, these are really good statements because they're making them publicly. They're giving us advanced warning to retreat our people. Like I think even when Iran bombed the base in Qatar, didn't we get a forewarning of that a while ago?
They always give you fucking forewarnings because they don't want you to kill an actual citizen.
Yeah, but not this time, I don't think, right?
No,
now they're just going crazy. But before, we were doing like, we're attacking your nuclear power plants or your nuclear centrifuges because we don't want you to have nuclear weapons, but that's it, right? Or we're killing Soleimani, and now you guys can...
Well, yeah, they even had time because we saw fucking satellite images of them moving the shit out of those, like Forsen or whatever.
Maybe. Well, I don't know about those. If we give them advance warning, we were bombing those. Maybe we might have. No, because we would actually want to destroy those things. But I'm saying that like for this current set of strikes or whatever we're doing right now, we didn't tell them about Soleimani. No, of course not. But I'm saying after we killed Soleimani, they told us that they were going to bomb one of our bases, right? Because we're still playing it back and forth, right? But if you're talking about a regime change war, this is now an existential fight against the Ayatollah. Well, now they're not going to play by the same. They're not going to give you a heads up because they know that like their lives are on the line. They're all going to die, and their regime is going to be destroyed. So now you're not going to get the same heads up. So I don't know if Trump expected them to play by the same rules like they did in the past. I don't know if nobody around Trump told him. Like you do understand that if you're doing a regime change war, these guys are going to go all out. They are going to shut down that strait. They are going to try to bomb allies like crazy. They're not going to give us any forewarning about attacks. You are going to need to be able to truly fend stuff off. It's not just going to be...
But they must have.
That's what I would assume, but I just don't know. Like the amount of talent exodus, the problem is we just take this stuff for granted. You just don't realize, like you don't know what nobody really knows what their fucking pancreas does, or I think you actually might be able to live without your pancreas. I feel like it's one of the organs you might be able to live without. But like your liver, like if you just take somebody's liver out of their body and they slowly start fucking dying, then it's like, oh shit, I think I actually really needed that organ. Like now I'm fucking dying. I think it's over for me. It's all over. And I think that's what's happening now is that there are so many of these bureaucratic pieces, so much talent, so much knowledge that was being sucked out of these departments, and people didn't realize like, oh shit, maybe these people actually are like maybe these people really did do stuff that was important, and now we just don't have them. And now it really is just the retards leading the retards.
I would just figure that the generals would be there.
Who is our current general? Trump hated the last one. Remember, it was Milley, right? I'm not mixing these names up, right? I think it was Milley. Yeah, Milley was the one who, when Trump left his term in office, Trump said, I want to pull every single person out of Afghanistan. I want all of them pulled out. Fuck that place. And then And I'm pretty sure that was one of the commands that Millie was just like, yeah, we just didn't do that because fuck that. They just didn't do that. That's one of the reasons I think why Trump fucking hates Millie. He hates this guy. But I don't know for this Kane guy. I don't know what his foreign policy. I don't know if he. Yeah, I'm not sure. People would talk about your appendix. Oh no, I think you can live without your pancreas. I feel like I heard this at one point. It was surprising to me. Maybe I'm thinking of your gallbladder. Actually, I might be thinking of gallbladder. You can live without your gallbladder. Wait, what does the pancreas even fucking do again? I don't even know. Pancreas. Wikipedia. It's one of these things that like helps with digestion. You have so many things that help with digestion. Who cares? Illuminator, thank you for the 5 gifted subs, buddy.
Woo.
Oh, and endocrine system. Damn, why does this look like a dick? Bruh. You have dicks in your body. Can you live without your pancreas?
Dick.
Gallbladder, not gallbladder. Shut the fuck up. Doing so, yeah, creates a state of permanent severe diabetes and digestive issues requiring lifelong management. Damn. Is your pancreas the one that makes the insulin? Why don't, fuck, my brain is falling apart today. I think I'm getting sick. I don't know. Yeah.
I feel like I was getting sick this morning too.
Shut the fuck up. Yeah, your beta cells in your pancreas. Fuck, I shouldn't have done that. I'm going to get insulin ads now for the rest of the year. Fuck. We're seeing the results of the loss of institutional knowledge and decision-making being bottlenecked. Yeah, I know. It's not good. Oh, God. And this fucking guy is making more videos. My country is being destroyed by people from the inside and the outside.
Jesus Christ, yeah.
Here's the full 40 minutes of my crew and I exposing California fraud. Minnesota was big, but California is even bigger. We uncovered over $170 million in fraud as these fraudsters live in luxury with no consequences. Like it and share. The fraud must stop. These people
he got mentioned today in a
destroying my country. Fuck.
Mike Johnson was talking to the media, and the lady was talking about a bill to like end fraud, and she brought up like Nick Shirley, the independent journalist.
The independent journalist. Thinking more on the... I am glad I guess I had this fight with Taylor Lorenz. I really do think that income sources and stuff should be disclosed for people that are doing anything that's even remotely media adjacent. It is kind of crazy looking at Taylor Lorenz as she's part of that... the residents in the responder, what is it fucking called? The journalists in residence program or whatever. Like, you have no idea what kind of guidance they give to their journalists. There's no transparency whatsoever into any of that at all. You have no idea. I don't think they don't have to disclose. I read this, but I don't know how true this is. I don't think they have to disclose how much they pay under 50K. You have no idea what their ideological push is for the people there. Yeah, I don't know. I don't like that. I just think that's really weird. But I mean, I would say the same maybe about Chorus as well. I think that all should be disclosed too. I just don't know how, I don't know what the responsible disclosure should look like. I feel like we do need more disclosing stuff though for all of the media stuff. That one woman, what's her name? I'm never going to try to pronounce her last name.
But they say it like at the front of the video? Is that what you're kind of talking about?
Well, or I don't know, just anything. That cat, what's the name of that one cat? It's like Afu Bugu Gabuga Burger or whatever. Does anybody know who I'm talking about? Oh. Like, I don't know her politics at all. My guess is she's significantly to the left of me. I don't know. But like, imagine you're her and like a ton of people start making attack videos on you. And it seems like a legitimate like social response to her as a person. But then imagine you find out, oh, hold on. Literally all of these people were part of this other program. And now, and they're all like getting paid money to do nonpartisan politics. Or like, I would just, yeah, I don't know. Fuck. I hate our current media environment so much. Holy shit. It's crazy how people attack Evan for the dyslexia shit. Meanwhile, the actual retard is their guiding light. I don't think anybody gives a fuck about the dyslexia stuff. They're just repeating Trump's talking points. Trump has, for some reason, decided that this is how he's going to get them. It sounds like what the Logistical Discord does to you. True. Except like for all of politics all over the place. Yeah. Did you see the Schizo Flesh Simulator crash out video he posted a few days ago. The Schizo Flesh Simulator. What? Oh, Flesh Simulator. The ISAT nuke.
You to damage the only thing that you cared about for Apple was that I assume.
Do I know this person? Do I want to know this person? Why are you anti-Citizens United? I don't know if I'm anti-Citizens United. I don't know if I'm anti or pro that. I feel like we need more information. Do you think there's a point where there's too much disclosure where anyone can draw any conclusion they want? Well, the thing is, we need disclosure, but we also need, like, maybe we don't need disclosure. Maybe we just need gatekeepers back in the media again, and none of that else would actually matter. I don't know. I think I might be fixating on the disclosure thing because I'm trying to find a replacement for having actual media-trained, media-competent people. I watched it yesterday. It makes little sense without context. Oh. You need to get, for your keyboard, you need to balance it. It's unbalanced. Can you hear that? Like if you push your finger on one side of on like a corner, it's going to hit the, do you understand what I'm saying?
But it's not doing that. Look,
it is.
Listen, I'm pushing.
I don't believe you. The way that it sounds when you're pushing the keys, it sounds unbalanced.
It's balanced.
I hate you.
I think it was because it was touching the fucking microphone.
Maybe, but I still hate you. Why can't we just ban social media? I don't know how I would implement it, but I'm in favor of, I think there should be a ban on all algorithmically generated news stuff. Algorithms shouldn't be able to touch news. It should be chronological only based on your subscriptions or whatever.
I don't know. Yeah, we're in a weird spot where I think that like we kind of need an independent. I don't even know what it would be. Like a news agency, like an independent fact checker, but I don't know.
Nobody trusts those. As soon as you make one, the conservatives don't trust it.
Yeah, that's the problem.
Like you have
but the conservatives will also just go lie to you during the fucking anytime they do have a press conference. They'll just fucking lie. So
true. Wait, hold on. I like that one suggestion. What was it? Whenever a member of the government... Wait, hold on. Media. Whenever a member of the government is speaking to the media, it should always be under oath.
That was my idea. And it's fucking true.
It is fucking true. What is the counter to this?
I mean, it's good because like if they can't talk about it, they could just literally say like, no comment, I can't talk about that.
Yeah. Are they technically always under oath when they are sworn in? If they're sworn in, yeah.
Hello, that's why you'll have Kristi Noem not lie under oath. Instead, she has to like be slippery around it.
Because I don't like that you can make statements in front of Congress and then go onto the media to clean them up afterwards. Like, there should be a how do you say this? Like some kind of, not like chain of custody, but like
a chain of events that has to like remain true.
Let's say that I make statements. I make statement A, I make statement B, I make statement C, okay? Then let's say that I go to court. In court, you have a judge that's evaluating these statements. Let's say that in court, under oath, let's say that I only really feel like I can say statement C, okay? Let's say that my argument over here for, we'll say my conclusion D, let's say that this argument is like compelling with all A, B, and C together, but let's say with only C, let's say that D is just not very compelling. I don't know, true and untrue? True and false, I guess. I don't like that I could make A, B, and C to the media and then go in front of the judge and make statement C, and then my conclusion is false, but then I can run back to the media and then I can complain that the judge didn't take into account A and B when I'm never comfortable making those statements under oath. Like, if you're saying something in an oath environment, I don't think you should be able to comment about it not under oath later on. Does that make sense? Like, it should be like
change
it should be like an inherited property, like on a
What's an
computer
example
system.
of something that wouldn't be allowed here?
So, like, if I say something like, let's say that I go. We can do the election denial stuff. We can do the election denial stuff. So Giuliani was saying things like there's a lot of fraud, all this horrible stuff. Then when I go to court, I say, okay, well, it's not fraud, but I think that maybe some of these processes were changed in ways that they shouldn't have been changed. And then let's say the judge says that's not compelling, fuck you. You shouldn't be able to run back to the media and augment your under oath statements by saying, well, we went to the courts and they didn't want to look at the fraud or anything else. Once you've made those statements under oath, everything that comes afterwards should be like in that property. Like, how like you inherit properties in permission trees or whatever for like security stuff? Like, I think it should be like an inherited property of all those statements. You can't change those statements that you made under oath, not under oath in the media anymore. Does that make sense?
Well, I would say the issue with this one, well, first off, you're using like the best possible example. Using something like more recent is more difficult. But even with Giuliani, when he went to the media and said, there's a huge amount of fraud going on right now. This is crazy. You're gonna say, okay, what's the evidence for that? And he was like, he wouldn't maybe say that under oath. Like, where is that? But at the time when he said that, he could be like, well, I was told by this person there's a huge amount of fraud going on. I wasn't lying. I was literally relaying what I was told by a trusted person. If you're asking me, did I specifically investigate every claim? No, I didn't, but I was told by what's the fucking name of that crazy lady?
That's fine. You can say all of this, but then when you go to court, if you can't bring any of these people to testify, once you're out of court, you're not allowed to bring this up anymore.
Well, they would just do it in another way. Like, they're slippery. That's the problem. Like, you can say so much without saying anything. You know that.
Then you would get held accountable for it.
How?
Never mind. There should be no laws ever because you can always get around everything.
That's
ever.
not
Just
what I'm
kidding.
saying.
Another glorious,
classic Dan.
Another complete and utter victory. Anything else, Dan?
Something
has to be done.
I'm just asking how it wants to be implemented, and it seems impossible to do what you're talking about doing.
How could it be impossible?
Because it's like 4 rule chains. It's like, okay,
you
once
make
you've been
a claim about
this,
voter fraud. Once you go to court about a particular issue, whatever judgment is issued about that issue, that's the judgment. You're not allowed to augment the facts as a government official. You're not allowed.
All right, let's play it out a hypothetical. Let's use a real one that you want. So, the voter fraud thing, which is the most extreme one, right?
Yep.
I mean, okay. So before this, I was saying there's fraud going on. We need to investigate this stuff. Blah blah blah. Then we go to court, and Giuliani said, "What? We don't currently have any evidence of fraud going on." Specific
Correct.
fraud, as you would say it?
Any fraud.
Okay. Afterwards, what would Giuliani say? Giuliani would say, at the time I was in court, we haven't found any fraud. However, it appears that new evidence is coming out. I was informed yesterday of this. We're looking into this. This might be even bigger than what we thought was the case before.
Well, then in order to make those statements, you would have to amend your filings or you'd have to file a new court case.
No, there's a new statement. It's unrelated to the previous one. You have to sue me now and then have me go under oath, and then I won't be able to say this one again. It's completely different.
But it's not completely different. It's the same thing.
It's not. It's new. It's new evidence I just had.
It's voter fraud. It's the same type of claim.
So once I said that this thing can't happen, I can never say it can happen again?
Not unless you file a new court case.
What about if new... So you have to preemptively do a court case before you can say a word?
Yeah. As a government official,
even if there's new stuff?
Yep. Don't we do this for criminal stuff already? No. Like if I indict somebody for murder and then they beat the charges, I don't come out and keep saying, I think they're a murderer, I think they're a murderer, I think they're a murderer. Like if new stuff comes out, you can file, I don't think double jeopardy applies if new evidence comes out.
Doesn't.
So no, you file another court case.
Filing another court case you could do, but that would be after the action. That would be different, not beforehand.
any claims you make about voter fraud have to have court cases filed, and you can only reference the things that you say in the court case. Or at least if you're talking about it, it has to be under oath. Oh, actually, never mind. The under oath thing solves this. If you come out and you make claims of voter fraud and you're under oath when you're talking about it because you're a member of the government and you speak about it, then...
I mean, I don't know if that'll stop it. These people are so fucking slippery when they speak right now.
It doesn't matter, but it's not about them being slippery and getting them 100% of the time. This is like when you say, like, you shouldn't have passwords because people can hack passwords. It's about a percentage of things you can stop. If somebody were to say something wrong, but it's under oath, I can hold them a lot more accountable, or at least, like, roast them a lot more. That people act differently under oath than they do not under oath. Even if they still lie under oath, even if they're slippery under oath, they have to be slippery in a different way. When they're not under oath, people can say the wildest, craziest, stupidest fucking things ever. They'll still say wild and stupid and crazy things. We see them, but you see the way that they squirm when they're under oath. So
like
I think
Trump
it's fine.
saying he has $17 trillion coming in the next month.
Yeah, or well, that's about the U.S. economy or whatever. I'm just saying that when they're under oath, they say different things. I think that if people who are in elected office or are functioning as an elected representative or an elected official or like an administration official, when they're speaking to the media, they should have to be under oath when they speak.
You should have to think if you're talking to the media as an elected official. Like, you shouldn't just go out there and just say whatever fucking comes to mind.
Because one of the things that I point out over and over again is this top-down synergy between, I've talked about this for years now, between conservatives and like from the president to the cabinet to the lawmakers to the media to the alt media. One of the reasons why the synergy can exist is because there's no accountability for the people who are lawmakers. Mike Johnson has the ability to lie to you the exact same way Alex Jones does. That shouldn't be possible.
Let me ask you this then. Republican comes out tomorrow and says this green scam is hurting American companies. Climate change is bullshit. It's still the same temperature now as it was 10 years ago. I mean, I would say that scientists would say that is complete bullshit, but there's obviously huge party division on if this is true or false. Is that the type of thing that you're going to litigate? Like climate change is probably a very good example.
If you make a concrete statement about the temperature, I think that's a litigible fact.
Climate change is bullshit. Complete bullshit. Scam.
Well, I think you would have to justify those words. How? Scam how? Bullshit how? You would have to make more specific claims.
They hate Americans eating cheeseburgers.
Fine. Make those claims. They can make those. That's an opinion. That's fine. But as soon as you start venturing into the realm of fact, temperatures haven't changed, there is no increase of carbon dioxide of the atmosphere or whatever, then you get smacked.
Well, no. What do they say? They say there is a change in CO2, but it's not related to climate change, and climate change is not real.
Well, how can you say climate change is not real? I guess maybe broader thing might be an opinion. Whatever you're going to say, they say here, that's fine. Let them say it, but make them squirm around other statements. And then you can have people in the media that actually try to ask them real questions. So like when I'm arguing with Taylor Lorenz, the reason why she was able to get away with her horrible fucking Wired article is because the people at Wired either don't care about journalism or the editors are massive Taylor Lorenz fans. Because everybody should be asking her questions. Like when I asked her, like, why don't you have parts of the contract in there? The first answer was, well, there are lawyers and everything. And it's like, okay, why didn't you put the actual quotes from the contract in there? Then she said, well, I have a whole process that I go through with editors and lawyers.
Full of shit.
And then I ask her, no, but she's not, no. Kind of, but not really. She's answering strategically. But if I push and push and push, eventually we got all the way down to, why don't you have quotes in the article? And she said, it was my choice not to. That's what the final answer was. And that's what everybody in the media should be doing. They should push people to get actual answers on things. But the reason why she's being slippery is because she probably does have some kind of contractual agreement with Wired. She can't just come out and blatantly fucking lie about the underlying facts. So she has to be slippery. It's just up to people in the media to catch people being slippery.
Sure. I think that stuff is annoying. Absolutely. I guess I would say there is other parts of this which gets frisky when it gets into societal issues. And if I say, Steven, is Caitlyn Jenner a woman?
For trans stuff, I don't think that this is not an edge case that I would build my entire rule around.
I feel like we're doing the Republican thing where like, the leftist thing of where if it's not perfect, then you can't do anything.
I'm not saying if it's not perfect. I'm saying I think that when you're talking about imposing measures to curb people's speech, which is, I think these Republican fucks should be curbed. I think that it's important that we try to be as narrow as we can to cut out the bad shit so that they can't point to something like this. and make it get completely hand waved away as bullshit, and then you're sitting there holding your dick because you haven't thought through some of the more obvious
No, that's
things.
okay. I think this would be fine. Negatives to this might be a chilling effect where nobody wants to talk to media because it becomes a partisan weapon to investigate every statement. I disagree. I think Democrats will continue to talk to the media because they don't generally fucking lie about everything they say. And I think having one side that's willing to talk to the media and to see the Republicans that are never willing to talk to the media, I think that would be a nice example. It's kind of like saying, like, why bother asking these people for a thing? You know they're not going to give a comment because you want to be able to put at the bottom of your article, we reached out to ABC and they didn't respond for comment. That's a good thing to have. It's better than just not even trying.
Yeah, if Republicans won't talk to the media, I mean, then
only go on
they
their own
literally
media,
just
yeah.
want to lie to you. Yeah.
Here's the real problem, though. Taylor Lorenz is a blogger, so a lot of these rules are not going to be applying to her at all.
Well, she's not a public servant.
Not either.
I think there should be a board. Oh, there's another thing. Good catch, Dan.
You're welcome.
There's no way this would work with free speech. This would actually be over the line. I feel like journalism or a journalist should be a protected title, but I don't think you could. That sounds like the worst idea ever for like a democratic free society or whatever.
It's so fucking annoying for Taylor Lorenz because she harps so hard on this. And if you say Taylor Lorenz was fired from WAPO, she'll be like, I wasn't. That's not true. But you know what the answer would be? Could you have stayed working there, you think? You think you could have stayed there for another few months?
It's possible. They never fired. She would say, I was never fired and I left completely of my own volition. Whether or not I could have stayed there a few months is inconsequential. It would be some talk around like this.
Yeah, exactly.
But I don't like, she borrows so much language. I talked with another friend about this, and this bothers me more and more the more I think about it. When people talk about, and Kafka talked about this with me on stream as well. When you talk about like ethics standards as like lawyers or as like a CPA or whatever, there are boards that you are certified to that you have to adhere to these standards. You have to, because if you don't, you'll lose your accreditation. You'll lose your license. You won't be an MD anymore. You won't be a lawyer anymore. You have to adhere to these things. When Taylor Lorenz talks about, well, I'm a journalist, so there are ethics. No, there are not ethics to being a journalist. You have policies at private companies that can enforce them or not enforce them. There is no accreditation to being a journalist. It's not a protected fucking title. There's not a criminal penalty for violating things. Yeah, it's
also,
whatever.
The ethics are kind of less meaningful when you can point to previous instances where they fucking didn't even
follow them. Yeah, but I would say not even ethics. I wouldn't say they're less apt. They don't exist. These are not accredited. These just aren't accredited names. They're not exist. Or they don't exist, sorry. Like there is no ethics requirement for journalists like there are for doctors or for financial people or for lawyers or for, I'm sure there are other things where you have to have an accreditation where if you fuck up the ethics here, you can lose your license. You can lose your accreditation. The idea of having, well, most of these boards are private, right? Or can you say private? Like the APA board, or what do you call it? The American, who licensed doctors? Is it the APA, the American Physicians Association or whatever? Who license MDs?
Per state, isn't it?
Yeah, actually, it might be state by state by state. I don't know if they're related to each other at all, or if there's like a federal one and then they do all the state ones. But I believe that they're all private, but like somehow they get accredited by the government. What rights would be taken away from a journalist if they lose their license? I think there needs to be a it might be AMA for American Medical Association. I think there needs to be, we need to create a journalist, a news media thing in the United States. Right now, that distinction doesn't exist because it's all just the same shit as like entertainment. I don't think we actually have like recognized like journalist stuff.
I think right now it's just like if you work at like Washington Post or I guess, I don't know, Associated Press, that carries a lot of weight behind it.
Yeah, but there's not like, but it's not like a thing. Well, yeah, but even press badges or whatever, right? Like if I go to the airport with my cases, I can say I'm press and I'll give you like a press badge, but there's not like a state licensed.
Correct, yeah. It means nothing.
What about anyone can be a journalist, but the highly accredited title can be a thing? Call yourself
Yeah,
something
don't
else.
they try to legislate that stuff pretty heavily? I think didn't it happen to Mudahar with like calling yourself an engineer is something that like Canada regulates or some shit?
Yeah, in Canada, like you cannot call yourself an engineer if you're not. Don't corn pop Dan. He's correct.
Thank you. Feels so good. That's
Yeah, there are some differences between countries. That might have been a thing because I feel like didn't people make videos on Mudahar and they got ass pained about it?
Yeah.
Yeah, as fuck. They're like, why are you calling yourself an engineer? You didn't go through college. It's like, okay, bro, who gives a fuck?
What is the bar association? It's not like a government thing, right? It's just a private entity we all agreed to trust. I believe bars are accredited by the government. They get their accreditation or accreditation. Is it accreditation or accreditation from the government? But then they're the ones who decide if you become a lawyer or not. But like the idea of having some kind of like accredited journalist board where people could like lose their credentials or something, or where they have like these ethical obligations, I think would actually be super good. I think super based. I also got more triggered over I don't like all I hate this term dark money or dark whatever, but I don't like that people can be getting paid from sources and you just don't know, and they're doing media stuff. That just really it bothers me, because what I try to think about is like, if I had access to this information, would I feel differently about it? And like, let's say that, I mean, I can use my own personal life as an example. Let's say, for instance, that like, when you make statements publicly, like the Discord server that you spend the most amount of time in is like shows up next to all of your real life stuff or whatever. Let's say that you find out that every single person criticizing me comes from like the Hasan or the Geopolitical Discord server. I think that other people would look at that and they'd be like, oh, that's really interesting. Or let's say,
these people, yeah.
Yeah, or let's say for Hasan, let's say that like 50 of the most vocal accounts that are attacking Hasan, let's say that all of that was published and you found out that all 50 of these things actually did receive a significant amount of money from APAC or something. You'd be like, oh, that's actually really interesting that all of those people are criticizing Hasan. I just think that having access to that information would change the way that people would operate in that environment, and it would change the way that we view people in that environment. I feel like the information would be really important to have. It would just change things, I think. Yeah.
If you had to go for one, right, because you probably can't like push all of these things at once, what do you think is more important? People in Congress lying to the American people, or I guess like journalist integrity?
Why only one?
Well, I'm just saying if like which one you would want to push more, but it doesn't.
I think the media environment is the thing that matters the most. Technically, none of the lying politician things should matter, because the saying always used to be that like you expect politicians to lie to you, right?
To lie to you.
That's what they say. Conservatives still say that, but they treat all of their politicians like fucking gods. They don't pretend any of them lie. They assume everything that Donald Trump says is gospel truth, and everything that comes out of their mouths are gospel truth. And then I don't remember who said this before. This might have even been a fucking TV show. I don't remember. But somebody said it was something along the lines of like, if you're a journalist and you talk to a politician and you are not criticizing them, you're just doing like free PR for them. That's all you're doing. It's just free public relations, basically. Our media is just so not healthy right now. Our media and alternative media. I'm not just blaming mainstream media. Our alternative media environment is super fucked, and all of the social media feeds. Like, I think a huge canary in the coal mine, in my opinion, should be Richard Hanania. Like, I consider that guy to be pretty smart. I disagree with him on quite a bit. I disagree with him on a few things, especially he's way more hawkish than me. But I think he's smart enough he has his own thought process, he has his own mind. But even Richard Hanania got sucked down the MAGA hole, right? Do you know him at all? You don't know?
No, I don't think so. Not yet.
Do you know who he is?
Let me look him up real quick.
The guy with the curly hair.
Richard Hanania. No, I haven't watched shit on this guy.
Oh, well, fuck you.
Is he the guy that you were talking about who was super on the Epstein stuff? Like researching and learning all about it?
Well, him and Michael Tracy are big on the protecting
the
pedophile thing. Both of them are. When I say protecting the pedophile, I mean the word. They don't like that guys that fuck 17-year-olds are described as pedophiles and all. There is like a legitimate argument that they have behind it that like, and I actually do agree. I think I agree with most of what they say, that the obsession with pedophilia is just like a low IQ thing where it's like it's basically like it's the final form of like protect the children. It's just labeling every political adversary as like a pedophile. And I mean, it's happened in our world, in the online world, where everybody on YouTube is just like, that's a pedophile, and then that's just it, and then you've got it. It seems kind of cringe and dumb.
I think they should have like a board of accreditation for pedophiles. Like,
absolutely fucking true. Yes.
Hey, just a quick thing that kind of hit me while you were talking about these two different kind of semi-related things. What do you think about if there was like we're talking about, we have some kind of like protected version of journalist and maybe some board with it, but like if you're talking to that person, if a politician or actually anybody's talking to that person in the context of their job, that is whenever they're on the record, right? So like, okay, Taylor Lorenz is not that type of journalist, so if I talk to her, things are going to be on the record, but if I talk to Anderson Cooper, he is part of that board or something like that. Do you see what I'm saying? Where like this person is some kind of like, we can trust them to be a like good steward of journalism such that whenever people talk to them, we know that this is on the record and like a statement that can be held against them. What do you think about something like that?
When they're speaking like in the functionality of a journalist?
No. Whenever a politician is speaking to that journalist, you understand what I'm saying? We're like, if Taylor Lorenz comes on and says, "Hey, this politician said this, that, or the other," right? I'm like, well, yeah, but they can say whatever they want to you because it doesn't matter. But then if I see like, oh, they were speaking to Anderson Cooper about it, Anderson Cooper has a specific accreditation, that means that what they said is on the record, such like that this statement can be held against them. You see what I'm saying?
The reason why I think it would be nice if we could figure out how to do some kind of like journalist or journalism accreditation is because you could attach a whole bunch of responsibility and requirements to it. Because right now you can't attach like anything, right? Like when you talk about like defamation or actual malice or whatever, you know, like it would be nice if we could create a whole different set of standards for journalists that would be better and would improve the health of that environment, you know?
Sure. Well, and I think that's kind of the like, unfortunately, one argument against what this is that, you know, we have to now give journalists some level of respect and
I'm okay with that.
Power.
I think they should be respected.
Sure.
And they are powerful. They're very important, right?
Well, sure. Well, and that's fine. But I'm just saying like it's some kind of such that like it gives them more legitimacy. And I'm not
that's
saying
good though. I want to give all those things, but the idea is that it would actually be more legitimate, right?
Sure, but then we have to decide what that means and how that operates. And I'm saying,
of course,
making that person essentially making it where like if you're talking to a journalist that is under this accreditation, you're basically talking to a stenographer who's going to be recording this, and it's like, okay, like if I like so like then that way, like if let's say Johnson says something to a reporter, and then for whatever reason that's relevant in a court case, I can just cite to that directly and say, well, you said this right here.
Oh, sure. I think all of this would be. I think all of this would be covered under I think that like any administrative official or politician that's speaking about stuff related to their job, I think all of that they should have to do like an oath thing before they speak. Like that should all be under oath stuff, basically. Like so, if Ted Cruz is asked a question about like where's your favorite place to go vacation, then that's like not an under oath statement. But if it's about stuff that he does in terms of his job in the government.
Oh, so it would be like a test of like, is this statement, does it rise to the level of like in the capacity of his
exactly, and then all of those things should be treated as under oath statements. So if you lie or something, then you can be whatever contempt or whatever the fuck. I don't know what the charge would be or whatever for lying under oath. I think it's usually just contempt, right?
Perjury. I don't know if this is
or perjury. Yeah, sorry.
I don't know if this is like too lawyer brained or something that I don't know how well people can engage with it, but I think that in conjunction with like, and I mentioned it in chat, I don't know if you saw, but that politicians should be treated as fiduciaries of their constituents. So like, if you can show that a politician took an action in the scope of their work that is for their benefit over the interests of their constituents, right? So it couldn't just be like, oh, he voted in a way I didn't like. It couldn't be that. It would be like, it's similar to corruption, but it's like.
I feel like that one's too hard because.
You think so?
Yeah, especially because now it feels like we don't really have. Now the politicians in like House seats don't really represent their constituencies anymore. They're basically just part of the big federal blob, you know?
It's like the whipping
Well,
thing, right?
Well, right, but I think that's the issue. I find a big issue that they aren't doing that. Like this puts it back onto them to be
Maybe, yeah, but
more
it's hard.
interested
It's
in
really
that.
hard because now you'd have a balancing test created every single time because a lot of the votes in Congress happen on party lines. So what happens when there's a new vote that comes out about how we need to nuke all the swamplands to make space for illegal immigrants, and every red district wants to vote yes on this, except for the ones in Florida who are like, wait a second, we're red districts. But also, if you don't vote along with Trump, you know they're going to vote you out of your seat in Florida anyway. Like, what are you supposed to do there, you know?
Well, but where's the personal benefit that these people that would make this?
Oh, well, I would assume that if you're doing things just to get elected again, you would consider that a personal benefit, like for raising money for campaigns. Well, because when you say personal benefit, what is the personal benefit? Are we talking about like just like taking bribes or?
Well, you could say taking bribes. If you could say like, okay, like here's a like you could even like depending on how broad you want it to be, you could say, hey, let's connect it to like here's like people that he is connected to that benefit specifically from this over the benefit of the constituency, right? So like let's say you have shares in a company or you have a family member that's on the board of a company that benefits directly from an action you took and your constituency was negatively affected by it, right? In those cases, you wouldn't necessarily be convicted of corruption, but you could say, hey, you're doing things against the interests of the people you represent for your benefit.
Yeah, I guess I'm just trying to think like who would have standing or who would even bring that case or whatever.
You can just make it a civil liability action.
That civil liability
You just
meaning could any private citizen bring like
any constituent that suffered harm based off of his actions?
Yeah, but you're
like the person that would
so
receive
much.
the remedy would be the one to do this.
Aren't you creating like a private cause of action that like every single citizen theoretically now has a right to enact based on every single piece of legislation? Not to get pedantic, but I feel like you could.
Well, no, theoretically, but then also, but that's a question for any law, and we have solutions for that already through administrative processes. You can just say, hey, just have a pleading standard that they have to meet, and then you can just put it through a
As somebody whose
department.
federal court case is already being delayed way too fucking much, fuck you. I'm just kidding.
Well, I mean, you earned it. No, but no, no. I understand, and I understand like this. I think there's like I would argue an untrue, but actually that probably a healthy like fear from a lot of people of like too much litigation and it being like burdensome. Like around this whole 230 discussion, people are like, "Oh my God, the litigation is going to be too much and it wouldn't be worth it." I understand that fear, but I think that can be a bit reductionist and kind of hamstring.
No, I do agree that would
ideas.
be. It's not good to just say we're worried about litigation. I'm just trying to think of what problems do I feel like this is solving. Like the biggest problem I have right now is the fact that it feels like politicians don't have to be honest and that the media is kind of complicit in this dishonesty. So I'm trying to think of like how do you fight against that particular thing?
Yeah, no, right. This is unrelated to the dishonesty. There's just like something else that I like. I like the idea of the being under oath thing, though. I would say I think there would need to be, like, I think it's actually like there would need to be specific carve outs where, like, honestly, like, I would even let the politicians like at the beginning of the interview say like, I intend for this to not be like they make a statement. I intend for this to not be.
Yeah, that would be nice. I love that.
Right.
That's really nice. Do you know?
And then if they violate it, shit, I got work to do. All right.
My God,
love you guys.
bro.
I gotta go.
Get out. You just fucking how rude.
No, I like that idea. In addition to this, like if politicians and et cetera have to be honest, do you think that the journalists, now this should be a part of the journalist integrity, but if you're adding a whole new thing, I think journalists should have to portray you fairly in their article.
Well, like what there should be is like the I just feel so stupid saying it. I don't know if there's an IQ check and some people genuinely don't understand this but like you can make a bunch of true statements that don't give you like a true understanding of a thing, right? Like if I say like there were, oh my God, and that one guy tried to argue this, like Alex Preddy approached ICE with a firearm, right? Like factually, that statement is true, but it's such bullshit. It's not really true
100%.
at all, right? I don't know if I bet there's a name in philosophy for these where it's like the statement is absolutely true. It's completely and totally true, but I don't even like to say misleading, but I would consider that a lie. Even though the statement itself is true, it's just not. But like, you know what I mean?
It feels like a lie. No, I know what you're saying because that's not what they're intending at all.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know how you would prove that. So let's say, okay, Kristi Noem goes up there. She's under oath, and she says Alex Preddy approached law enforcement with a gun. Well, that's not a lie. That's true.
Well, the benefit, the nice thing about the court process, imagine court where there was no cross-examination. Like, imagine if you could bring up a witness, ask them questions, and the other side wasn't allowed to ask that same witness questions. That's what the media is like. Because if you were to bring them up and you were to say, did Alex Preddy approach them with a firearm? And they say, yes, he did. It's like, no further questions, Your Honor. Then on cross, then the other side can get up. It's like, it's true that Alex Preddy's firearm was not drawn at all or whatever, right?
Yeah.
Objection leading, whatever,
Then
right? Was his arm,
like,
was his firearm
yes.
drawn? No, it wasn't out. Did any officer see it? No. Was he on the ground? Did they tag him on the ground? Had any officer seen the firearm yet? No. When he was just right, then that would look horrible. But that's because you have the ability to cross examination in an actual trial, whereas in the media you don't. It's just one side asking questions. So it's completely fucked.
Well, it feels like you're getting clipped, kind of. Yeah.
Yeah.
You can lead on cross, yeah, but yeah.
Oh yeah, because it's a hostile witness.
Yep, they're inherently hostile.
Why the fuck do you know that, you fucking retard?
Grand Theft Auto roleplay.
Shit.
Problem.
Okay, true. You can lead on cross.
If you don't want to leave, you don't want them to be led. Don't ask the question.
Wait, why is it that why would you ever ask the judge for permission to treat your own witness as hostile? What's the point of that? Why would you have to lead your own witness?
Sometimes you have witnesses that aren't cooperating witnesses, right?
Oh, so like I want to bring a witness.
Dan as a witness, right?
Gotcha,
we would have to go,
and they would want to treat you as hostile, ask leading questions. Gotcha.
Yeah.
I'd argue that politicians should be treated as politicians when everything in public. The amount of power granted you by being a politician should bring with it a level of public scrutiny responsibility outside the norm. No, I don't think that's fair. There's like in Catholicism, the Pope has there's a name for this, I think, but he's considered infallible, but not when he speaks on all things. It's only when he's speaking on matters of church doctrine, which makes sense, right? So if the Pope comes out and the Pope says In-N-Out is the best fast food restaurant in the United States, that doesn't mean anything. But if the Pope is speaking in matters of church doctrine, like I don't know what all that extends to, what language the mass be conducted in, or speaking on Jesus or some church thing or whatever. Like the Pope is considered to be speaking from God, essentially.
God himself, yeah.
So he's considered infallible in those, in that context. And I feel like for politicians, it should be that when you're speaking on matters that are related to your office, that you are under oath. Those statements are all considered under oath and subject to perjury. Take a look at what a defense of democracy is. I think you would really like the framework of that. Maybe, I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. The leaders of our nation just going out and doing news conferences and just fucking lying to the American people has got to stop.
Yeah, because these are my representatives to the world and to me. I should be able to trust what my president says to me. I shouldn't think that he's fucking lying about things. I remember when I confronted Posobiec on that a long time ago, when he was saying he didn't trust our intelligence agencies over something, and he was quoting like RT. And I think I asked him, I was like, who do you trust if you don't trust our own intelligence? And I don't think he actually answered my question. He wouldn't engage with it. But it's like, we're truly lost if we can't if we can't trust anything our government says. And when they're like destroying offices, like they just released another bullshit thing today on the White House website about the fucking COVID lab leak stuff.
Oh, I saw that. Yeah.
Oh my God.
I actually thought that was old because I'm pretty sure they released some other bullshit like that in the past.
You can't. They probably have, but he has to do like official like disinformation pages now on the whitehouse.gov site, which is just fucking crazy.
Whoever our next president is going to have a fucking hell of a time cleaning this up.
Well, but it depends on how much they even want to clean up, right? That's my big fight with everybody else, is how much are we cleaning up versus how much is just going to be business as usual.
Well, they have to. In order to go back to business as usual, there has to be a complete cleanup, because this administration is.
Yeah, but the complete cleanup has to happen with the public as well, right? Was there a statement Trump made you viewed earlier to spark this convo? No, I've just been thinking more and talking more with people. And I have to have a list of things now going into these conversations that I want to harp on a little bit, because I have to have some kind of solution. It's just a lot. It's just annoying. You got this figured out. We just need a Michelin board that evaluates journalists, and if journalists meet certain criteria, they'd be given a Michelin star. The better you are, the more Michelin stars you get. Were you going somewhere with Kat Abu Ghazalib? I think you just said that she's a left. Didn't I mention? Well, no, apparently she found out that a bunch of people were kind of running attack ads against her or were making kind of attack addy statements on social media. And she found out that there is some group, I don't know what the name of the fund is, but some C4, some dark money fund or whatever, that is apparently funding a bunch of people, and they're all making these statements about her. And that, yeah, I don't know, that would just annoy the fuck out of me. I don't like that. I just don't like that can happen. That just bothers me. I don't like that. Would you rather have a liberal president that is soft on this administration or a leftist president that goes hard?
Leftist president goes hard?
Well, leftist means socialist or communist.
Okay. We can fix that later.
Can we? The big issue that I would have, honestly, because I'm thinking about this, the big issue I would have with a leftist president is that I just read something YouTube that triggered me, sorry. The big issue I'd have with a leftist president is they would both sides it all. If there was a leftist president that legitimately thought the Republicans were significantly worse than the Democrats, I might actually be okay with it. But they wouldn't be. They would just both sides the fuck out of it. You do realize if you make this law, someone will challenge it under the first. This will easily be a burden on speech. Will not pass strict scrutiny. I think it will. Fuck you. If I have to show my fucking ID every time I want to fucking jerk off to fucking Pornhub now, that there's going to be a database of Coomers in every fucking state, fuck you.
I mean, it probably won't happen but I mean, then the First Amendment needs to be changed a bit.
Jesus. There's a lot of like get arounds for the First Amendment stuff. It's not as absolute as
Well, I would hope so. If your politicians can literally lie to you and it's upheld under the First, then it needs to be changed.
Yeah. Like the State of the Union should be an under oath thing. Right? Like imagine the president literally has a statement addressing the country.
Yeah. I mean, all of the old fireside chats should have been under oath in theory.
Yeah.
Like if you're talking to your nation.
What the fuck?
As a president, then yeah, it should be. Like Trump's Truth Social should be, in my opinion, under oath.
There's a great Veritasium video about different voting systems and how changing the voting system may lead to some of the reforms you're suggesting happening indirectly. Yeah, maybe. I don't know, bro. The more I read about other countries, the more I'm okay with America. The little bit of digging I did into, I can't believe how fucked the British shit is. You guys are crazy over there. I would take America, every part of America's system, over the autistic fucking first past the post, multi-party constituency, non-constitutional, supreme parliamentary system you guys have in Bongerland. Holy fuck. Every part of that is fucking wild. Every part of that is so unbelievable to me. I would be a million times more afraid of reform now that I understand that they could come in one legislative session can destroy your entire fucking country. Holy shit. And first past the post multi-party shit. Oh my God.
I don't like that they're basically Congress picks their leader.
I mean, they do. That's pretty common in most places, right? You do it in Canada, right?
I'm not a fan of that. Yeah, they do in Canada. I'm not a fan of it. Well, wait. No, you go up for election in Canada, though. You vote for... No, you vote for Carney. Yeah, Carney got voted in.
I think the people put up... No, the party... When they say the party votes for the leader, is it the party or like the members in... Hold on, chat is fucking...
You vote for your rep and they put the leader up. Hold on. Vote for PM and K. I haven't voted because I don't have citizenship here yet, so I don't know.
It's the leader of the political party that wins the most seats in the House of Commons during a federal election. I don't know how do they choose the leader of the political party? Do the members of parliament or the members of parliament themselves pick it? My understanding is that the members of parliaments themselves. It's an internal vote of the party. You retards keep saying internal vote of the party, but when you say the party, you mean like just like the not all the
like the liberals versus the conservatives,
but
right?
not all
so
the
like
citizens, right? Like you're not a member of the party, right? You mean like just like the people who are part of the. all members. So every single citizen, like all, like, do you guys elect to be part of the party?
Yeah, so like when you register to vote as a Republican.
No. That's what it sounds like they're saying, but they're not. They mean it's just
Are they
like
not saying that?
No. They sound like they're saying that because they're retarded. That's not what they're saying though. It's like if you're part of the actual. It's like parliamentary people. Wait, hold on. Leaders are chosen by registered party members at a convention by public. Destiny, it's the elected MPs. Destiny, no, you can. Well, okay.
No one knows how it works.
No, hold on.
That's what I learned.
That's all good.
Nobody's got.
Hey,
nobody. It's
okay,
Canada. Fuck
that's
it.
fine. Okay. After a robust and secure nationwide process, registered liberals across our movement will choose our new leader on March 9th. This is a time for liberals across the country to exchange ideas. Okay, so it's citizens, average citizens who are registered as part of the party.
Yep. That's where I got confused. Now I remember why I was confused.
I hate all of you. Okay. Okay, hold on, quick. Dune break. 1 second. I'll start my stream for you too. What? Why are they together again? Spoilers.
What will we name her?
Are you just allowed to have mistresses in the Dune world? Because the son was a...
You got it. There's no
The
porn.
wife was like a mistress. There's no porn? No, but like wasn't his mom like a mistress or whatever of the Atreides people?
I don't remember.
Oh my god.
read the book too.
She was. Are these flashbacks? Is this guy dead? Didn't he die in the first movie? Am I crazy? What?
Brother. That guy comes back in the next fucking 30 books.
Okay. He has a clone? Why is he a skinhead here? American History X?
Yet.
Okay. They need to do something more with Zendaya than like, I need you to look really angsty in this shot and be upset. I feel like that was her in the entire second movie. Holy shit. Also, you notice how like nothing happens in space, even though this is like a fucking space movie?
I wouldn't say that this is a space movie.
Well, it's like planets and shit, and they got spaceships.
Yeah, okay. I would not call this a space movie, though.
At Destiny, why do you never give a serious answer when someone asks you for advice on how to start researching for politics? I've given serious answers before. I'm sorry. Fuck. I made that fuck your mom joke to that guy and he donated $15. 15. I hope he's still here. I'm sorry. Listen, the serious answer, I hate that I'm giving you this answer, but post 5 Ants Destiny will tell you unfortunately, there's no shortcut for, you just have to start reading stuff. You have to develop like a working vocabulary for a subject field, and then you just have to start reading stuff in that field, and then eventually you'll start to, because it's impossible to tell what's even true or not true, or to gain any insight about whatever you're reading about, to even know what you should be reading about the thing you're reading about, until you read a little bit about what you're reading about. So like it could be as simple as like, I know this is cringe and horrible, but like it could be as simple as like you have to actually pick up, it's a big one, you have to actually pick up a book and read it about a thing. And first you have to make sure you have the general knowledge of the thing. So that might mean if you want to learn about central banking or something, like you should have like, go take an Econ 101 online course, a 12-hour Econ 101. You should know, like, what does it mean when somebody says inflation or supply and demand or comparative advantage, or what is productivity, like these basic, you should know like basic stuff about marginal cost, whatever, like you should know basic stuff about the field. And then you just have to pick a book. Usually in any given field, there's going to be like, this is the most widely recommended book in this field. There are going to be, some people say there are a million different studies and blah, blah, blah. That's not actually true. If you're going into a particular field, there's going to be renowned researchers from a given field. They're going to have like landmark papers that are published in those fields. And if you start actually reading stuff, you're going to recognize the same names, the same concepts, the same whatever else. I don't remember them anymore, but like when we were doing all the research on COVID lab leak, the topic that I will never get to debate with anybody in the entire world because nobody has the confidence to debate because they're all fucking losers. But like when you started to see like the same researcher names popping up over and over and over again, it's like, oh, I recognize this guy. guy. Oh, I recognize this guy. Oh, this person publishes here. But there's just no shortcut into, like, you just have to start reading stuff. Yeah, I can't give you a shortcut there. Yeah, that's it.
That's what I do every morning.
There's just no shortcut for it. But like once you start to read stuff, like even Mr. Mutin, as we've watched him get more political or whatever, right? Like even there are things now that somebody could say to him that he would instantly recognize, that before there's just no heuristic, there's no shortcut, there's no way to do it without just kind of
there is a shortcut.
Immersing.
It's called Claude.
Good one.
Research mode.
Without immersing yourself in any given subject matter first or whatever. What do you want, Radiant?
I wanted to talk to you about your takes about bad faith actors. Because I was listening to your thing with North, and I joined late, so I didn't listen to the first part. But apparently you got into you said something about how like you can't make a rule, you can't like structure a system around bad faith actors, something like that.
Mm-hmm.
And one of your examples is like about murder.
Okay.
And like if it was like the hypothetical was like if somebody like murder is bad, but if somebody were to like find some random jurisdiction where like they could murder somebody and not be punished, like
it was about culture at that point. No.
What are you asking me? What?
I don't know what you mean.
I said that no, you can't make a rule system that can survive bad faith engagements with the rules. That's impossible.
I mean, yeah, I think.
And we agree.
I feel like. Well, no, I don't agree with that necessarily, because I feel like it's in human nature to be kind of like bad faith, or to like find a loophole or whatever, or like, you know, find just like holes in the system, right?
No.
And like it's kind of like on the rule makers.
No.
What do you mean no?
Just what I said. No.
But what does that mean? Like, is you saying you disagree with that?
Like, if we were to play Risk, if we were to play Monopoly, like, we would understand that there's like a rule set, and we would play within that rule set. We wouldn't be trying to break the rules all the time.
I mean, yeah, but you're trying to figure out how to play within those rules, right?
Yeah,
within the rules. If you just break the rules and you're just like throwing it all away, then like nobody's gonna obey the rules. It's like whatever, right?
Sure, but like we're trying to figure out like when things reach the real world. So Monopoly and all these things are much simpler. Do you ever play D&D?
No.
Have you watched me play D&D?
A little bit.
So like me and Mutin and Nick playing D&D with Neil, Jesus, Koibu, Neil. Like that would be an example of what I would consider borderline, would I say like bad faith engagement with the rules, because we're trying to break them in very ridiculous and wacky ways. Now we all agree to do this, like it's fun for us, and Neil agrees to let us do this, and it's fun for us. But like, for instance, when the rules say that if you drink a potion it has these effects, right? Well, it's pretty clear that the intention of that rule is when you unquaff a potion or whatever, and then you drink it, that the potion takes effect. So when me, Mutin, and Nick have a side rule we make, well, what if we put the potion in our mouths, but we don't swallow it until later on? That's not like a good faith engagement with the rules. Now, Neo can let us do it, and I think he did for some things, as long as we put water in our mouths and held it or whatever. Yeah. But like that type of thing, like ordinarily, like if you're playing in a normal game, we were trying to be expeditious and you're trying to do things quickly and by the book, you'd say, well, no, you can't do that, right? But if you
then it's on the DM or whatever to figure out how
on a judge,
like enforcement.
Yes, on a judge or executive, yeah. But it can't be a perfect rule set. You need human enforcers to make sure that people are playing by good faith in the rule book.
Well, right, yeah. So, but like, okay, so in real life, like, shouldn't you just say that like we've got the laws on book? Kind of like outlining
but you need judges,
what
right?
Should be happening.
Like you can't just break a law and you're held instantly accountable. You've got to go to court to figure out if you really did break the law. That's a whole ass argument that requires a human interpreter to figure out if it happened or not.
Yes. But okay, so like I don't understand like why you're saying that like you would need to do like some kind of like, I guess, illiberal like exercise, like well, mostly with the hypothetical. I was having an issue with the hypothetical where you're saying like if somebody finds like some jurisdiction where you can murder somebody for like without being punished for it, like it's somehow bad, when like it's more just like maybe that jurisdiction or whatever should be just like ruled or written into the law, right?
What?
About your hypothetical about murdering people.
Oh, I think when I gave, okay, I'm sorry, let me clearly elaborate on this. I'm sorry. I gave the hypothetical of like a guy shooting somebody across state lines and then them not like being held accountable or whatever by the other state because they're across state lines, and that would be a bad faith engagement with the rule, right?
I mean, yeah.
Yeah, sure. You could write that into the rule. But what I'm saying is that like if there are people that are looking to break the systems in this way, you would never be able to write enough rules to help all of them. It'll be infinitely fucked. It'll just never
But
work.
there's always people looking to do that though.
Yeah, but
And
you
then-
still
and then,
hold
like,
them
what-
accountable. You punish them when they are doing bad faith breakings of a rule to get around something that was clearly intended by the legislature. If they're clearly trying to get around a thing that we clearly know is bad, then you still find ways to hold them accountable.
Yeah, they're punished in later infractions, right?
No,
Like,
you punish them trying to break the spirit of the rule immediately.
I mean, so you know how like there's like, what do you call them? Like, are they Red Hat hackers or something? You know, like how there's like hackers that like try to break into systems or whatever, but they get paid lots of money by companies because
White hat
you know,
hackers.
like,
Sure.
yeah, exactly. Like, but like I feel like there's like some like, I don't know, like there's just onus on the people to write proper rules.
Well, hold on. Why did you use that example? Because that example is going to play exactly into my thing, right? This is a company that's hiring somebody to either do penetration testing, or it's going to be like a white hat hacker guy who discovers some vulnerability and then responsibly discloses that vulnerability to the company, usually in exchange for payment and security and safety, right? These are people who are working very much within the bounds of the system, no?
I mean, technically, but okay, so because I'm thinking in situations where let's say like we've got like people that abuse like let's say Twitter API, right? And so what Twitter would do is that they start charging everybody to use the API from now on, because there's people that would spam it to train their AI or whatever, right? Like it's not like Twitter's gonna go ahead and punish those people or whatever, like. They basically changed their rules. They didn't like punish the people that were abusing the API, if that makes sense, right?
No? Wait, why is my
Maybe
mouse
not.
not working? What the fuck? Was that what the noise was? Hold on. I don't know what the fuck you just said. That's what.
But okay, no, like people who break the current rule, or they're not breaking the current rules. They're not breaking any currently written rules. Like they're not going to get punished, or at least I don't think people usually get punished for that. Like in
Triple
law,
S, man, no one knows what you're talking about.
I know. Okay. Because I'm not forming my argument properly. Okay, like people who do stuff, like who do things that's not currently illegal, they can't get punished retroactively, right?
Usually not. No.
Okay, so like, I don't understand like why, but like the reason for that is just because like it wasn't against the rules before.
Okay.
Like, are we saying that you can't ever treat rules in a bad faith way? Like, I feel like that's the entire reason why like rules are written, so we know like what is allowed, what isn't allowed, and like.
You got the tism, huh?
But does it make sense? Like, it does make sense, doesn't it?
There are some things in a rule that you should change because it's like, there are some things in a rule, like I don't know what the distinctions are. Everybody who's not autistic knows these things intuitively. There are some.
No, I know that's a
stop.
cop-out.
No, it's not a cop out. It's not a cop out because we're human beings and we're human beings. We don't operate
No,
like
it's
fucking computers
insane.
that read machine code. Everybody understands like the intentionality of a rule. And there are ways that you can maybe break these creatively that aren't going necessarily against the spirit, or they're like edge cases. And then there are ways that you can break these where it's like, it's very clearly bullshit, right?
Okay, so wait, in regards to Trump, right? Like, we agree that Trump is breaking a bunch of like existing laws, right? It's just that there's nobody that's there to enforce them. Like, shouldn't we then, I guess, like rewrite these laws so that they're enforceable in their own ways, or like maybe they're more distinct or clear about what are like how like when
yeah,
something
you
is breaking
can
the law?
clarify them if you want, but you should still hold the people accountable who are breaking them, right? So I just looked up the 2025 murder statute in Florida. Okay. Do you think that in the 2025 murder statute in Florida, I'm seeing here the second element that's listed here is the unlawful killing of a human being. Okay, or sorry, so 1A. This is the unlawful killing of a human being. All right. So I see here that the unlawful killing of a human being when perpetrated by any act eminently dangerous to another and evincing a depraved mind regardless of human life, although without any premeditated design to effect it, blah, blah. I'm seeing a lot of human being here. What if somebody identifies as like a furry, anthro, or whatever, and I kill that
Well, we have a
person?
definition of human being, though.
well, what if I legitimately, like, do we have a definition of human being that excludes, like, fucking furry anthro? Am I really going to find that in Florida statutes that a human being is defined as a thing with 2 arms and 2 legs and has human DNA and all of that? I doubt it. It's probably a conventional understanding of, like, what a human being is going to be my guess.
I mean, but then we'll just bring in an expert who would then determine if they're a human being or not. Or like it's not. This isn't hard to figure out.
We would bring in an expert to determine if they're a human being. That would be the burden? What if I bring in another expert and I say, well, I don't think this person is a human being, and my expert wins in court, and then you patch the law to say, fine, now furries and anthros are going to be also considered part of this human being class. Is the person that murdered the furry just walking away scot-free, even though he's like
that's a good person,
very clearly and obviously like breaking this?
Isn't the definition of a furry a human being that's wearing an animal costume?
Okay, what do they call the guys that? There's a name for the people that don't consider. I don't remember.
Yeah, like they pretend like they say like,
don't anthros consider themselves not like humans, or am I making this up? I don't know.
There are some people who believe that they are deers. Yeah.
Otherkin, anthros.
Okay, yeah, there's people who believe that, but like physically and everything else, I don't think they would deny that they're physically, a human.
I don't know. Some people are crazy.
That's silly,
what if they
though,
legitimately truly say that, and they really do, and they're of sound mind, and they say, I don't consider myself a human being. I really, truly don't consider myself a human being. And then you kill that person. You don't really have the mens rea of murdering a human being. They thought they were some animal thing, and you thought they were some animal thing. Like, should that person really not be held? Like, would you patch this law?
Well, one, that guy would be an insane person.
Why would they have to be insane? They're making logically coherent and consistent statements.
Yeah, no, that's what I mean. Like, as in, like they would go like to mental treatment or whatever. Like, what the thing is? Like, people get off based on insanity. Like,
why would this person be insane? What's insane about this?
That they're an animal.
Well, not an animal, but they just think that human being is defined as something different. You have to have the cognition of feeling like you're part of the human race. And if somebody truly identifies more with some animal kin or whatever the fuck else, then fine, they can identify that way. And I think that's legitimate, but there's not a human. Is this a crazy person?
Based on, like, if we had a psychologist assess them, yeah.
I just disagree.
If you beg the question on everything, then of course everything you're going to say is correct. If a psychologist is going to assess them and agree, but like if they're reasonable in every other part of their life, why would you assume this person is insane?
Because, okay, we're saying in this situation, there's a person who considers themselves as an animal and they murdered somebody. But because they think that they're not a human,
yes,
they didn't break any laws.
Yes. Well, they didn't break the murder statute because the murder statute says human being over and over again.
Well, I would say it's probably a mental disorder to consider yourself as a...
Okay, that's great, but all you've done now is you've taken my argument of good faith and you're using that same argument. You just don't realize it because now you're saying if somebody doesn't engage with the legal system the way that I like it, rather than saying they're engaging in bad faith like I would say, you're saying, well, they're just crazy.
Okay. Regardless, like, yes, the law could be rewritten, but I think if you were to assume that the judge is a reasonable person, like, they're just going to indict them for murder. Assuming
I
that,
agree.
Like,
but that's because they would look at the law and they would say, you're not engaging with this in good faith, motherfucker. And they wouldn't patch the law either. They wouldn't say, we're going to include furries as humans. They would say, this is retarded. You're retarded. But not legally retarded, just retarded.
Well, but the point is that, like, there's no need to go towards, like dictatorial type of, like, enforcement.
Who's talking about dictatorial enforcement?
I mean, as in, like, illiberal, right?
Who's talking about illiberal? You're going back to the broader government argument? Yeah, I don't know what that would look like 100% yet. Can you give me an alternative or anything, or is it just
so like right now, I feel like that there is a lot of things that Trump is doing that is probably illegal. Is that there's no enforcement body or like nothing currently. There's no system to like kind of account for that. So like, I guess like there needs to be like the people currently who are in place are not neutral people, so they aren't able to enforce what's on the books.
I mean, we have an enforcement body. We have Congress that can impeach. We've got a Department of Justice that can indict.
That's what I mean. They're not objective.
Sure.
Like, and like at the end of the day, it relies on the, like, in a democracy, like the people have to kind of keep themselves accountable, right? And like if they don't believe that they like, or like if they don't believe it's corruption, then it's not actually corruption because they don't think so, right?
Okay.
I just mean like, yeah, I don't think. Yeah, you don't need to go to Nuremberg trials, I guess, is the main thing.
What should happen? What do you think should happen to right our country?
Yeah, fucking tell us,
It's
man.
hard to say. Okay, I know. And it sounds dumb. It sounds cucked, right? But like if if Trump is democratically elected, then it may be the people really just don't like democracy, as dumb as that sounds, right? Like, it really does like kind of depend on the people to kind of hold themselves accountable, right?
That's a non-answer, though. I'm saying let's assume that we're going to continue the democratic system and we win power next. What do you think we should do to right the ship?
Oh, enforce the laws in the books.
Okay, so if Trump does a global pardon on every conservative...
What do you mean by global pardon? He
says every single Republican person, I'm writing every single person registered as a Republican in every state now, and I'm pardoning them for all crimes that they've committed for the past 50 years.
Then you're gonna have to write an amendment, or then you have to do like a constitutional amendment that says Trump pardons are illegal, or like they don't count anymore.
Is that not illiberal? Because now you're like, I don't know if it's
It's not illiberal because that's in the system that we agreed upon.
You just said we have to
altogether.
amend the Constitution, which definitionally means it's not in the system.
No, it isn't. No, but the Constitution has a system where we can change any rule that we want.
Well, in that case, then
Like,
I can write any rule that I want because it's the Constitution.
No,
I
no,
can change the
wait,
Constitution.
no, because but it's 90%. It requires like 70% of the people to like decide on that, right?
Well, then you're probably not going to get them to decide on
it.
it because 50% of the people just got global pardons.
Well, then that's the thing, right? Like that means that people just don't think it's corruption. Like
Okay,
that's the
then
problem.
then you're
That's what I'm
saying that we don't do anything then.
No, I'm not saying we don't do. I mean, that's just what it is. Like people just don't believe in democracy. Like you can't like
Right back
the
on.
Constitution itself. We have a system to account for like those extreme edge cases where the president is abusing pardons, right?
Hey,
like
that's just what it is, Stephen. Shrimple ass.
it is in the system, right? Like we have it. It's there. Like if it turns
that's just
out,
what it is, man.
I mean, what am I saying is incorrect?
That's just the way it is.
Like you can't, because okay, the problem with that is just that like we have the system in place where it says like, well, if let's say if we get a president that does abuse the pardon system, because I guess that's always been a possibility. Well, then we could like there's a mechanism in the Constitution where you can just get I think like 70% of the population to decide that we need to add this new amendment to change how it works, right? But like if we're just gonna ignore that, and because like we decided, or at least like I don't know, let's say like 40% of us decided that like the president is not using the pardons in the way that we want it to, like, well, you know, then you're just kind of breaking the rules, right? Like we're
Hey.
breaking the rules that we set.
That's just the way it is, man.
You're just being silly. Listen, the point is just that like if the like in a democracy, like if just the people don't believe it's corruption, then you can't really do anything about that, or it's really hard to fix that. Like the only way you can fix that is by teaching the people, like, I don't know, to think better, be more democratic.
Shrimple as. Okay.
Nothing's ever
Yeah, I
fixable.
will.
I
I
got it.
will.
Thank you.
Moon
No,
is,
that's
Moon
not
is being
it,
defeatist, but
though.
listen, I will register your thoughts as they're registered, okay? I've registered them, all right?
Okay.
Okay. I love you.
All right. Oh wait, one more thing.
What?
We gotta play Marathon.
Okay. I'll download it immediately.
Come
okay?
on, Destiny. You know, I know you'd love
I'm
it.
downloading it right now. Okay. Be careful.
DGL.
After much reflection, I've decided to resign from my position as director of the National Counterterrorism Center effective today. I cannot in good conscience support the ongoing war in Iran. Iran posed no imminent threat to our nation, and it is clear that we started this war due to pressure from Israel and its powerful American lobby. It has been an honor serving under POTUS and DNI Gabbard and leading the professionals at NCTC. May God bless America. And its powerful American lobby. One thing that I will say, historically, this is Israel. Close enough. One of the advantages that Israel had when they came into the region was they had a lot of lessons from like Western style democracies. Jordan looks something like this. This is the Sinai. Perfect map. And so they were able to do politics much more effectively. Like they're much more able to manipulate political environments better than Arab leaders because the Arabs were just not good at politics. Maybe because they hadn't practiced it because they were all part of the Ottoman Empire and the Turks handled everything or whatever. But Israel is very good at political stuff and organization and military stuff and everything. They had all these Western lessons they took with them. One thing that is very frustrating, though, about the history of Israel is, I would argue that Israel is very not sympathetic to or doesn't do much to shore up the they don't take into account like the political realities sometimes of people that are helping them. So I have this book back here, The Lion of Jordan. So King Hussein of Jordan actually had a ton of back and forth dialogue with Israel over the course of decades. Like would secretly fly to Tel Aviv and have conversations with Golda Meir, and was kind of like they had like an extensive relationship back and forth. But Israel would do nothing to soften the blow that King Hussein would deal with whenever they're attacking Fedayeen or people across the border, or engaged in these wars with other people. Israel wouldn't do anything to help the King of Jordan's political positions, and I'm aware of. They just have no consideration sometimes for the political realities that other people are dealing with in the region. And I feel like today, now we're seeing that a billion times over with the way that Netanyahu has just fucking dog walked Trump into this fucking war with Iran. Like, anti-Semitism is already on a pretty spooky rise, I would say, in the West, in the world. I don't know what the fuck else. But like, holy fuck, Israeli leadership really has no care whatsoever for the political realities that exist in the United States. Like, I don't know. I feel like this war in Iran, unless the polling has changed, is like the most unpopular fucking war the United States has entered in the past several decades. And I don't know what Israel thinks is going to happen with their relationship with the United States in the future, but they are fomenting so much bad will in the U.S. I fucking sniped some retard in my subreddit who was like, Destiny said that that Democrats wouldn't care about Gaza 2 years later. It looks like he was totally wrong on that. I wasn't wrong on that. They don't give a fuck about Gaza. What they care about right now, some retard on my subreddit, what they care about right now is the fucking war in Iran. And every single person in the United States, or a lot of people in the U.S., are probably looking at Trump, and then they're looking at Netanyahu and Israel, and they're like, why the fuck are we here? And this isn't helped at all by the fact that the Trump admin, unless I've missed it, hasn't given us a good reason for why we're at war with Iran. Everybody knows that Netanyahu fucking hates Iran. Like, that's what it feels like to me. That's my read on it, is that Netanyahu basically sold to Trump. Wouldn't you want to be the dude that took out the Ayatollah? Wouldn't that be based in epic? And Trump was like, fucking A, hell yeah. How do I sell this to my people? Me? And Netanyahu's like, 47 years, bro. 47-year war. Fucking go. It's so stupid. I think Israeli leadership is okay if anti-Semitism gets really bad in the U.S. because it means they get 6 million new Israelis from the American Jewish exodus. That is true. One of the irritating things, I've said this over and over again, between anti-Semites like Hasan and the Young Turks and all the general like anti-Semitism is that my impression is Israel doesn't really like Exodus Jews. They don't really like when you talk about like the Brooklyn Jews and shit, Israel really wants Jewish people to go back to Israel. That's what they really want. Like, if you're a diaspora Jew and you're not back in Israel, they kind of don't like you. Like, they're very aggressive on the birthright trips and trying to get people to come back to the country and everything, because they need to shore up their demographics in this country, because it would help them absorb like the Gaza Strip or parts of the West Bank and still have their demographic majority. And for like, people will look at Israeli Jews and like Jews outside of Israel as all part of like the Jewish mind or whatever, but Israeli Jews are significantly like their own breed of thing, and I don't think they're like, I'm not going to say they're anti-Semitic towards foreign Jews or whatever, but they definitely appreciate their own kind and appreciate the people living in Israel, the Jewish people in Israel, like far, far, far more than the Jews that choose to remain outside of Israel. Israel is decoupling from the U.S. Netanyahu said this over and over again. This will likely be the last 5 years where Israel is strongly allied with the U.S. It might be, because, again, to the opposite of a lot of people's understandings, the hard right in Israel does not like the alliance, quote unquote, with the United States for the exact opposite reasons why pro-Palestinians were always protesting Kamala and Biden and shit, because Israel sees itself as limited and inhibited a lot by the relationship they have with the United States. A lot of the more unhinged shit, like now that we've seen kind of in Israel that's a little bit more uncapped, is a little bit more unhinged. There's a little bit more bombing Beirut and going all over fucking Lebanon and setting off pagers in southern Lebanon and doing crazy shit at Gaza, and now starting this war with Iran and doing all this crazy shit in all these regions. Assad's finally gone, all this shit that's working out of their favor in Syria, all of the shit that they're doing. This is like what Israel kind of wants to do. And they know that they are militarily strong enough to do it because the enemies in the region are not sophisticated. I don't think Egypt gives a fuck about anything going on up there. And the Gulf states are all the leadership at least is preferable to Israel over the fucking Ayatollah or Assad or fucking Saddam Hussein. And yeah, so Israel just wants to be able to do all their shit, and they don't like somebody in chat said that the golden handcuffs of being with the United States. The far right in Israel does not enjoy that very much, and they would like to see that decoupling because they because they saw the U.S. as a limiting factor more, at least under prior regimes. Now under Trump, I guess they can do whatever the fuck they want. But yeah, I don't know. It's annoying. This guy was the head of the director of the National Counterterrorism Center. I think the pager attack isn't a good example of that, but I do agree with the rest of your point. Well, I'm just saying in general, Israel wants to destroy all of its enemies in the region as aggressively as possible. But then I'll also say, God, I hate this region so much. All the commentary is so retarded. All of the fucking losers, all the pro-Pally losers back in the day that were clapping for Hamas and were cheering on Hamas and kept saying that, oh my God, like they're freedom fighters and blah, blah, blah. They really fucked it up. They really fucked it up hard for everybody, because now that Hamas did their big attack, and it was bad, and it was horrible, and I think Israel did have every fucking right to go to war with Gaza, look at what Israel has gotten. Like, it really is. It really is just the history of the whole fucking region. Is the Arabs constantly misstepping and then giving the Jews a really good fucking reason to fuck shit up. It's like over and over and over and over and over again. That's just what happens over and over again. And Hamas did their October 7th attack, and what did Israel get off of that? They got to level the fucking Gaza Strip. They get to play politic games now with the Palestinian Authority. Assad is gone. So Syria is hopefully moving in an Israeli-friendly direction. They're bombing Beirut. They got to kill Nasrallah. They got to destroy all of the Hamas leadership. Hezbollah is crippled right now. You've got Iran is on the fucking way out now. Like, Israel got so much of that. And this is what I hate. This is why I keep saying, like, foreign interference. I've said this from as soon as I started studying this region. I feel like foreign interference is, like, fucking it up so much. All those comfy losers in the West that were all cheering on Hamas, all your Hasan Pikers, all your Brooklyn anti-Semitic demonstrators that were cheering on Hamas as freedom fighters, they cheered them right into oblivion. Like, they really fucked all their shit up hardcore. They fucked their shit up so bad, and nobody in the West has to pay a price for that. None of these pro-Pally dipshit losers, these people called Palestinian Americans who were born in fucking Michigan, none of these people had to pay any price for that. And now, Israel fucking runs shit. Remember that Saudi Arabia seems to prefer Israel to Iran / their proxies? Well, maybe. We don't know that for true. We know that the leadership there prefers it, but I don't know what the Arab street thinks. I don't know what the average Arab citizen thinks of Israel compared to any of the other people. It's harder to say. Remember that those regimes are there because the United States wants them there because they're U.S. friendly, right? Why do we prefer a monarchy in Saudi Arabia or monarchies in these Emirati places? Why do we prefer monarchies instead of democracies? Because we know that the monarchies are loyal to U.S. interests. We don't know if a democracy would be. So who's to say if we pulled out of that region and all of our interests completely, what future governments might look like, how they would align with or without Israel? I don't know. But fuck all this. Fuck this region. I hope they all blow themselves up. I hate this fucking shit. This is why I'm a huge green energy climate change guy, because the sooner we get off oil, the sooner we can stop looking at the Middle East, the sooner I never have to talk about fucking Israel ever again. Fuck all that shit. Oh my God. And then all the left fighting. That was another thing I was getting triggered about for the chorus thing with Taylor Lorenz is, unless there's something I don't know about Brian Tyler Cohen, I don't think Brian has to do anything with chorus. Like, the guy makes a ton of money on YouTube. The guy's super successful. Like, he can do all of his shit on his own. Tries to start up this chorus thing and immediately gets fucking shit on by Taylor and probably every other person on the left that reads this fucking article. And it's like, why the fuck? Why would you do anything on the left? What a waste of time to ever try anything over here when it's just a massive shit show of backstabbing by a bunch of politically ineffective leftists that don't even care if they win office or not. The Democrats do not deserve to win the midterms just by sitting by and letting Trump commit war crimes and drag the entire world in the abyss. Do something, you absolutely useless and worthless cowards. I wonder if this guy supported Kamala Harris. Oh, nice. He responded to somebody. You're showing proof of me saying Harris would lose to Donald Trump. Let me quickly check what actually happened a few years later. Do something. Boy, you. Maybe the fact that Bernie is leading Kamala by 20% in California. America, we want universal health care and affordable college. We want a living wage. How about Hillary with more melanin? Hashtag Kamala. My statement regarding Senator Kamala Harris 2020 in full. Haha, no. To be fair, this was 2020. Maybe for 2024. But whatever. From my understanding, the Saudis want Israel's high-tech weaponry, are kind of okay with opening up trade since the alternative is dog shit. I mean, the leadership, I think, all wants to be friendly with Israel because it's just a better country. Bombing a nation into smithereens like a real oh, this is 2018, bro. I don't know. Okay. What bed would you sleep in?